Okay, I thought I'd try something a bit different and do commentary on a game that I've played. This one goes about half an hour. It's a bit of a mismatch. The team on the left are about 2400 and us on the right are about 2900 average, I guess. And we're playing on Baltiisk. It's a US mirror. When it's a US mirror, it's usually still 2 on A, 1 on B, and 2 on C. It's just that one of the players on C might initially go to capture the island on H for both teams. It's a bit different when you play Russia, when you normally ignore the island. In terms of opener, when two players are going to the same point, you can afford to be a little bit creative with your opener, because you don't need to build or bring something that's completely capable in all areas by yourself. So I go for a bit of a weird opener with two tow teams in that building at the base of the road. It's probably objectively not very good, and I would have been better off putting more stuff into the forest around A, but I'm relying on my teammate to bring something relevant as well. Also open with two snipers and a stinger team. And a Hornet, because air attacks on this map can be important, especially if someone goes for the island to protect or attack other choppers. In terms of air attacks, the planes, the more expensive planes, or the ones with the 9000k range missiles, should go at the back of your planes, and I should possibly also put it at low altitude, just because you want the opponent to see the weak planes first, maybe get a bit overconfident and attack them, and then you come in with the long range planes, which hopefully are just out of their range of vision, and attack them. So I fire the first missile, let off some flares, and then run away. And I'm hoping that I can use my second long-range missile from outside of their range. So I'll swing back around, fire the second missile, and now because we're doing well, and because the force trying to take the island is a bit vulnerable, we zip in, and we'll attack some of their choppers as well. When you attack choppers, make sure you're not on afterburn mode, because you can crash into the ground, and you're better off at lower speed, because you might be able to find two of your sidewinders. Anyway, I lose the plane, but that's fine, it did well. I'm a little bit late here, dropping the sniper into the building there, and I would have had better vision if I microed that earlier, but it's not the end of the world. And now that these two tow teams have fired, I should probably move them, because it's going to get sex-eagled in a matter of seconds. I get my two snipers and I put them in the buildings that I usually put them in. I usually put them in buildings like these, but my teammate here's brought a sniper, so I decided to push it up a little bit more. And NGSW teams go in the towers for the moment, but I should move them very quickly, because that's another cruise missile target. And then I decide to bring a tank. This point is not too far from the objective, from the spawn, so we can afford to bring a slower tank. And my teammate has brought some anti-personnel stuff, and we've already got some anti-tank infantry there. So tank feels like a reasonable pick to me. Sniper goes in the meta position there, and this one goes aggressively placed there, because my teammate on the left has brought a sniper as well. And other than that, it looks like we've done very well out of the opener. Our opponents have just dropped Humvees full of infantry on the point, and yeah, it's not going to go well. They've been far too aggressive generally. So here come the cruise missiles. I should have moved my infantry, and I get punished for that as the building goes down. So yeah, any infantry that's on this map that has engaged, you have to move it straight away, basically, because it's a heavy cruise missile map. And yeah, as soon as an infantry piece is fired, move it, basically, is a good idea. So I'm pushing up my sniper. Our next sort of ambition, I guess, is to get some troops in that forest in A, and get a bit of control of that side of the map. I've also dropped 15,000 supply at the base of the map, which will slow me down a little bit in the short term, but ultimately long term is a good thing for your economy, I guess. And I've microed that tank off the main road because I'm sure there are going to be ATGMs at the end of it, and through the forest heading to the forest of A. So we need some supply at the base of our troops there. So I'm going to save for an MTVR with a little bit of supply, and so a couple more troops in it. I push my pack to the meta spot there on that little hill, which you can see it going to, on that little elevated platform. If you watch the video, map strategy video I made on Baltiisk, you'll see why that's a meta spot for your pack. Anyway, my pack's gone there. And I think we're doing fine at this point. We've got a sniper here. The opponent doesn't seem to be pushing very hard into A, so I think we're doing more than okay so far. As you can see, we've got a couple of packs there in the meta spot. Have to be a little bit wary of artillery, but yeah. So this, my opponent, my teammate is pushing heli and some supply way up high, which is a surprise to me, but it means that we're doing very well on this side of the map, or maybe we're only fighting one opponent when we expect to be fighting two. It does definitely look like that at this stage. So yeah, the way we sort of adapt to that is push up very aggressively in this space, advance all our troops, advance all our recon, try to create some problems, and also direct our artillery or our airstrikes over to the left of the map where that missing player on A, so there should be two on A for the opponent, so we direct our airstrikes to the left where that missing player is obviously hanging out. So my idea now is to get advanced recon and a tow team in or around one of those towers, which is something that you never should be able to do on this point. You know, that's why usually two players from the opponent team come, because if you can start to put things that are, you know, really weak in CQC, like the tow teams in the objective, up quite high, then you're doing very well. I get a Kiowa out wide just to help out defensively against chopper flanks. That's very important on this map. And yeah. You can see the opponent's got a Kiowa out there as well. On this map, it's quite typical to use the Kiowa out wide to try to laze things. It's a very annoying strategy. But yeah. So here we're in control. I've got a decent front line. I've got AA, I've got SHORAD, I've got recon. I can fight on the point itself with the SRAW and NGSW. And I can also fight beyond the point with the ATGM tow teams that I've got. I think I go a bit crazy here with tow teams. That's probably not the best idea. So yeah, I'm advancing the sniper. I'm going to try to take these buildings up high. You can see there we get a couple of good free kills on a very expensive infantry combination. That's 220 points there of Moore's team and Raiders, which just gets melted. Yeah, so we're trying to position ourselves aggressively because we've only got one opponent on this point and we should have two. I moved the Forcon up into that building just to make use of its optics. And you can see the meta spot there getting artilleried for our packs, so you have to be a bit careful of that. And yeah, sort of plugging away. You know, just make sure all my stuff's resupplied. Yeah, we're doing fine here. The opponent is sending out a lot of CJs, so we have to be careful for that. I'm trying to click on it to see if I can get in range of it without the radar, which I'm close to, but not quite. When you do that, you have to be careful because the pack, if you click on it, the pack might keep following it the same way as any unit would keep following another unit if you click on it. What else? I get some of my units out of those towers because I'm sure they're going to get hit by crews soon. Resupply my pack, and yeah, just chilling, pushing up to the edge of that forest with NGSW, trying to take a free kill on that tank. The tow teams get involved as well, and then we will go to resupply. Yeah, so we've dropped some supply there. We've healed up our units. Got way more tow teams than we need, but whatever. And we've got a sniper that, because we're doing well on this point, we can push up really aggressively and see what's there. The Kiowa I just want to place defensively because they've got an Avenger there behind that thing. We have to be very careful of the Lancer here. I thought this was going to be a nuke, which would have made a lot of sense actually. You can see I've got way too much frontline stuff. It is still a fairly devastating drop of 2k bombs, I think they were. A nuke would have been a lot worse, but it's not the end of the world the way it is. Yeah. So I don't think that play by my teammate was any good to drop supply out there because it's just become enemy supply. But I've got some Brutus coming up, and I've lased the Booker because that sniper's very advanced and giving us good recon. And you can see the Kiowa's done its job there and traded positive, and we will move the Slam Ram out to the forest there to help us against any choppers on that point. We've lost vision on the Booker, but we'll lay something else and see if we can hit that. And we're probably going to lose vision on that, but yeah, we might as well hit the supply at this point and hope that something is there. And I'm confident enough to push the tank forward because I don't think the opponent has invested much into that area, but we will see. We've also got infantry support and some recon, so yeah, I'm just looking for an even more aggressive spot for my sniper there to see if we can push it up and see how good our recon is. More supply and infantry, yeah. I don't know about this. I have a Sex Eagle in this deck, so I should probably, at this point, be saving for that, just because I think we've already got more than enough on the point, and we don't need to go crazy in adding any more. So yeah, I mean, I could get a second Patriot, I could get, you know, save for the Sex Eagle, but I think adding more infantry to the front line's probably not super necessary here. I was wrong about the tank push, by the way. That's been engined, but you know, it's still not the end of the world because it will allow us to get the kill on that Booker. And there, I'm just moving the Patriot away from where the Booker is firing from, because of counter artillery possibilities. And you can see the lased shots on the Booker are going to start to do some damage, hopefully. And this is the point when I probably remember that I've got the Sex Eagle in this deck, and I start saving for it. Using that sniper there, obviously, to laze the Avenger. Hoping that the other one pops into vision. There's no real perfect spot for your supply on this map. You just have to put it wherever you think you can get away with it and hope that it survives long enough to be useful, realistically. Still saving for that Sex Eagle, and I'm going to send it to some of those buildings on the left, which are full of infantry, and which, even if they're not, they're good to destroy, because, well, they're going to be full of infantry at some point. I try a little bit of counter arty, which is very difficult at the moment because of the aim time nerf, but thought I might as well give it a shot. And out comes the Sex Eagle, and I'm going to put 2 precision strikes on the weapons team and 1 on the manpads and ATGM team. And then I'm going to push the Sex Eagle forward and try to make use of that seed. So you don't want it to go too far forward. So then it's still a 500 and whatever point plane. So losing it is a massive disaster. But after I fire 2 seed missiles, I back off, put the plane at low altitude, return to base, and go home. At least I think I returned it to base. It doesn't seem to be returning to base there, but hopefully I remember that soon. And then, yeah, I'm just trying to help out on the left now, because there's no point pumping more units onto the objective, because they'll just get bombed again like they did last time. Pushing the Falcon forward to try to make use of its optics and stealth. And yeah, I'm feeling very, very comfortable at the moment. I think this game is pretty much over, just because of the amount of space they've given up. When you use the Sex Eagle, you should probably use them back to back, just because you don't want to be, saving twice, basically. So, you use it, you return it, and then you only have a little bit extra to save for the next one. So, yeah, I put the 1 on the AA at the back, and a couple on the towers, and then do the same thing, come forward, fire off the seed, back out, make sure I don't lose the plane, go low altitude, return to base, and fire off some flares. It's basically the way that you're supposed to use it. at this point, yeah, I've decided that I'm going to try to obviously help out in the middle because it's pointless to add more on the right, and get a recon unit or two in those meta positions on top of the hill between B and C. Very important positions where we currently don't have any units. So I'm going to try to push in over there and help out a little bit. So I'm talking about this area here, where you need recon, or you need counter recon at least. If the opponent gets a sniper in the trees on that hill, it's a problem. So yeah, at this point I think it's pretty clear that the opponent has given up on A, and so yeah, we start to move our units and our support, support items, I suppose, over towards the left side of the map. This is not a good strategy for them. Effectively, they're pumping in 3 players worth of stuff onto C. I'm just reminding my teammate that he's got a Black Hawk back there that he's picked up a pilot in that he's forgotten about. And yeah, so we're starting to add more support on the left there. I wouldn't usually use SRAW, by the way. I wasn't really sure what this deck was when I picked it. But on this map, they're actually not bad because the 600 meter range is useful, and when you pair them with NGSW, also have a 600 meter range. It's a decent pairing, and I don't actually hate it on this map. So yeah, not too bad. Here comes another one of those Lancers. Sort of, or whatever it was, Strike Eagle. Yeah, good example of why you want to spread your stuff out. You don't want to just go overkill and stack 4 billion points worth of stuff all around A. You can now start to push up and spread out. So I'm getting some recon units, and that lav is a recon lav, so it's got 1750 vision. So we're starting to sort of help out on B and C. Back the Kiowa off there, just use it defensively, and we'll start to push into the forest. The mistake that our opponents are making is that they're just pushing everything onto the objective, and they're not taking the important recon points next to the objective. So they're getting crossfire, they're getting bunched up, and we can see everything that they're doing and everything coming. They'd be better off first trying to control this area and get a sniper here. And okay, that's why you don't play it like that. Because one of our teammates, I think that's the 3K player, he's nuked them, and that's why you don't put 3 players on one position on Baltiisk. Without spreading out and taking this hill and stuff like that. It would have been nice if he'd warned me that the nuke was coming, because I'd lose a few units, but whatever, it doesn't really matter at this point. Yeah. So I think sometimes it's good to look at games between strong teams and less strong teams. So I asked these guys to surrender because it's a waste of time at this point. The game's over. Anyway, I think it's sometimes good to look at games between strong teams and less strong teams, because you get to see, how mistakes are punished. And that nuke was a good example of bad strategy from the opponent's team. And I'm just getting my Brutus away from that supply point when it fires, by the way. It's very annoying when people do that, when they fire from on or near a supply point, and then the counter artillery or cruise comes and destroys everything. Anyway, you get to see how average play is exploited, I guess. when stronger teams play against less strong teams. So we've got packs and slam rams up super high at the moment because our opponents put zero pressure on A, and we can basically do whatever we want on A. Yeah, on other points as well. Just got to be aware of the CJ. There's constant CJs from these guys. Yeah, and I've also called up a Guardian there because I think this guy is struggling, and I'm just questioning whether he's paid for Shorad on top of the other stuff that he has, and doesn't look like he has. And the Guardian is going to get off a few of those fire and forget Hellfires or whatever they are. Yeah, and that's going to be very devastating. I don't have a clear target for the Brutuses, but I'm hitting one of the only spots left that it makes sense to put a pack. He's attacking the Guardian with a CJ, which is successful actually. So maybe he had Sidewinders on the CJ, but you know, the Guardian is 275 cost and it goes down. The CJ is 320 cost and that goes down. So I'm fine with that trade. And the Guardians, I think, already killed one or two. Oh no, he's damaged one or two of those tanks for the opponent. So totally fine with that. And at this point, I'm just trying to guess at where the Booker or the MGS or whatever it's called. Just pinging my friend's Patriot there, but too late because of the seed. Yeah, so I've unfortunately lost the lays there. But yeah, I'm trying to guess where those Bookers are going. And hit that. So when one of your opponent's units is damaged, usually what teams will do, or what less strong players will do, will be to just click on the supply dump directly. And so you sort of look at the direction that Booker is moving, you look at the nearest forest, and you send your artillery there. Because, you know, what a good player will do is first move the damaged Booker in a random direction, and then queue a move order into the supply. But what less strong players will do is just click directly on the supply, and that will give you a really clear idea of where to send your artillery. Yeah, so, you know, this is not a normal game obviously anymore. We're pushed basically into their spawn at this point. This is what I was talking about actually with counter recon. Yeah, we should have cleared that much earlier. So we found a sniper there. That's what I was trying to do a few minutes ago. And now, you know, we are pushing up very high with recon, with tanks, with plenty of stuff. I'm pushing the slam ram up, I'm pushing the Brutus up. I'm going to laze that building. My sniper. And we're trying to finish the game as quickly as possible. Yeah, it's got a couple of minutes left. I mean, I guess what you can learn overall from this is like how to adapt your strategy based on what you see the opponent doing. So they didn't have the usual strategy of two players on A, so we took A very aggressively, we pushed into it, and then we stopped pumping units into A, and we spread out a bit as a team laterally. I used the Sex Eagles instead of pumping more infantry onto the point. Yeah, I shouldn't do that actually. I shouldn't click directly on the supply because it will make him try to shoot it. I should click sort of next to the supply. He's got to run over it to take over the supply. I make the same mistake here as well and accidentally destroy that supply that I was going to use. Whoops. I meant to go and get it. Anyway, yeah, forgot that was how that worked. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think the main thing to learn from this game is like about adapting, I suppose, and not, when you do take a point, if you've got it locked down. Whoops, I lost my pack, but at this point I've turned my brain off because the game's over. Yeah, the main thing to learn is once you've taken a point, once you've got control, you've got recon, like that's enough. Don't pump more and more and more assets into that front line. Use planes, use artillery, use packs, and spread out a little bit so you don't just get nuked. Yeah. Anyway, that was the game. I played okay in that game. I wasn't, super focused, I guess, but played well enough. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them below, and let me know if you enjoyed or want more content like this. Yeah, hopefully you can take something from it.